I just never had a desire to team rope.
Yeah.
I ain't nothing against it.
There's a guy down there from around, where I live now, and he ropes out of necessity, and he always got something smart to say about everything. And I was telling him something. We were working some cattle. I was like, yeah, I was over there roping some steers the other day. He goes, what, a bunch of stuff get out? I said, no, man, we was practicing, He's like, oh, whatever, man. He's like, I rope because we got to get it, not
Rodeo time. Got to get her on down the road.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Rodeo Time. Your man, Dale Brisby, Mr. Donnie Ray Daytona. You going to be awake today?
Yeah. I seen someone comment the other day, Donnie meditates on the podcast.
And then we've also got Mr. Garrison Goebel joining us.
It's Gable.
Garrison Gable.
Yeah.
Why don't you spell it Gable?
I don't know.
It wasn't your decision.
It wasn't my decision. A long time ago when my ancestors got off the boat, that's what they put down on paperwork, I guess.
It's kind of like Teague.
Yeah,
Teague,
they
Texas.
get serious about that over there.
Everybody over there says Tig.
Yeah.
All right,
don't get it wrong over there either.
Well, I just tell them I didn't play Little League. I played Little League.
How's that go over there?
Well, there's like 9 people there, so it's like, them talking crap don't really.
Okay. Like I said, they're pretty passionate about it in that part of the country.
No, I would probably call it Tig in circles just to avoid confrontation.
My name has been pronounced wrong so much, I almost just go with it, I almost don't even recognize it anymore.
Gable is way easier to say than Goebel anyhow.
Yeah, I would think, but obviously not.
Humble.
Yeah.
Take the H off if you want me to pronounce it humble.
Or it's humble.
It's humble. I'm entering humble, Texas.
I never thought about it that way, but yeah, that's another one.
Yeah, humble and humble. You got it figured out, Donnie?
Trying to.
Donnie, he's like our sound man.
Yeah.
Video man.
I guess.
Me and Garrison have been ranching and rodeoing together for how long?
Man, what'd you say? When did you graduate college?
Dude, I think we've been running. I think Kermit walked up to me at that bull riding in 2006.
That's probably right. That makes about sense because I was trying to think. I lived there till 2009 in Snook. So, and we knew each other for several years before I moved from Snook. So that's probably right. I'd say 2005 or 6.
Dang, that's 15 years. That's a decade and a half.
Yeah. Where did it go? Where did it all go? But
man, Snook, Texas.
10 years.
It's a lot of people. My, how long's it been?
Nice drop in there, Donnie.
Dude, do you remember like the amount of people that would come there to get on their first? Like every week, somebody was getting on their first bull.
Oh yeah.
I think that's where like Snook is where I really got labeled as like the guy that could help people get on.
Right. Yeah, it was funny. I was thinking about that the other day when I talked about coming up here, and another thing that's even funny, like to think about the people that came through there in that little couple of years that went on to be really successful.
Yeah.
Like not maybe in just rodeo, but like Weston. He got cracked out there. I remember Jacobs coming over and getting on broncs. Ace Sloan.
Yeah, Dale Brisby.
Dale Brisby, of course, Dale Brisby. I mean, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
But I remember one day Ace, Caleb Schmidt, and his brother were all out there practicing calves one day. Now, you want to talk about some good watching? That was 3 of as good a calf.
Did they use the calf lane in the back the most?
No, very little actually. They usually always came up there because they had those, that we just had the panels up there to kind of buck those bulls. And, the panels went, how it was, went about halfway down that side of the arena. And, Ace usually roped in just a big arena when we get done. And like I said, Caleb wasn't there but 1 or 2 times, but that was cool to watch. Dude,
I heard, like, back in the day, like in the 70s and 80s, like Leon Coffey and them, like, Snook used to be the spot.
Oh, yeah. That was I remember Kermit always told me, I think it was Kermit always said, he goes, you could go anywhere before and Snook after Saturday night. They'd run slack till, 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. So people last place you'd go would be like snook slack, that night, Saturday night. And then like they always had the big Labor Day roping. I mean, I never went to. That was back in the '80s, but it was like a Labor Day 10-header or something. And I mean, I think everybody'd be there,
Yeah.
from what I understood.
Man, I miss that. That's one thing I miss about living down there was how many rodeos there were in such a short, like just you could every 20 miles, you had in the summertime. Golly, you could.
Yeah, the amateur rodeos down there, which is this year with everything else going on,
Yeah,
it wasn't
a little
going
different.
on. But yeah, I mean, you can't go to them all. I mean, really, like in time event deal, you
cannot go to them all.
I mean, they try to make slacks and stuff where you can get everywhere, but I mean, like some of those guys at rodeo down there, you can make a lot of money.
Yeah,
because there's so many, and I mean, I don't, but
dude, you remember whenever there was like, I mean, it might have been early snook, like 07, and it was like Tuesday night, or it was it Tuesday or Thursday, but there'd be a bunch of
Thursday
us,
night.
and there'd be some girls. We would we would go to the after snook. We'd buck a few bulls, whatever. They'd all make fun of me.
It's probably just a bunch of dudes.
No, it was a time. It was on
spot.
Thursday night. It was fun. Like
This
there'd be
was the
people
spot.
just come out and watch. I mean, they just
drink beer and
like
there'd be like 5 of us getting on.
a bunch of people talking.
Yeah.
Like they might get on one, but never
and then,
did.
And then we would go to the watering hole.
Mm-hmm.
Man, just this bar, just big, almost a shotgun style, kind of like your dad's bar. But then we'd
And one pool table.
guys ride their motorcycle in the back door.
Yeah.
There's always a
Yeah.
dog back
Yeah,
there.
there was a dog
little
lived in
black
there.
dog. What was that dog's name?
I don't remember, but I
And,
remember the dog always been in there.
Sounds like a good spot.
I'd go beat Garrison at pool.
But I don't know. Little known fact. Have you ever shot pool with him much?
No, I've been meaning to because
I mean, I'm like, man, what's my record against you, Dale? Like,
I don't know.
man, like I don't know if I ever got a W, Donnie. I really
Sure
don't
you
think
did.
I don't know, man.
Dude.
When you had plenty of free time and shot lots of pool, you could shoot pool. Like it for a guy that doesn't drink and do all that and hung out in the bar that much. I've never seen anybody shoot pool that good that didn't like just hang out in the bar all the time.
Wes
Yeah.
told me he shot pool good. That you shot pool good. He's like, man, Wes told me this is how Wes said it. He's like, I shoot pool pretty good, but Dale, he's dang good. And I shot,
ran the table.
I mean, he's for real.
and then I shot pool with Wes, and Wes wasn't very good.
We were at Billy Bob's waiting to meet some folks at a Can-Am party, and man, I think Wes might have got to hit the ball like once or something.
Remember that time?
I was a tick better than that, but like Dale
Yeah.
was for real. That's for real. I don't know how his
Hey,
game
remember-
is these days, but he used to be pretty sharp.
I never seen him play.
Who were we playing with that one time? We beat Kermit. Kermit got some mad.
Oh, that was at
Somebody. There was a fourth
it
person.
was Jerry Pierce was there.
Was it JP?
Yeah.
That's who it was. Golly, that was a wild
It
buck too.
It was. We were just having fun, thinking him like,
I don't know if
Like-
Kermit was more mad at himself or Jerry.
that's been an ongoing little saga forever. But
JP still around there?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
They live in Navasota now, but
Yeah.
but yeah, still around. Raul still hangs around.
Yeah.
Yeah, ain't a whole lot changed. Got a covered arena now. That's
Ain't
about
much changed since you've been gone,
Yeah.
Dale.
yeah, no, really, it hasn't. It really hasn't. But it's been cool over there.
Golly. Yeah, no, I missed that coming back up here to. It was just like the rodeo. I mean, there's rodeos, but they might be 50 miles apart and a little more sporadic.
Right.
But
Yeah, you can go all you want down there. In a normal year, you can go anywhere you want, anytime you want.
every now and then, all them days we spend in Snook with you and Kermit over there turning steers, we would turn, they would rope a few steers and then we'd buck a few bulls. And every now and then I wished I would have spent some time in a roping box just because y'all were there.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, you never did rope much over there.
No. That one day we would,
Piddle around,
yeah. But I was just like, if I could catch something, I was just like, oh, yep, doctored calf,
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
like that. That's how I viewed it because I was like, I don't know. I may pick up one day. I just never had a desire to team rope.
Yeah.
I ain't nothing against it.
There's a guy down there from around, where I live now, and he ropes out of necessity, and he always got something smart to say about everything. And I was telling him something. We were working some cattle. I was like, yeah, I was over there roping some steers the other day. He goes, what? A bunch of stuff to get out? I said, no, man, we was practicing, He's like, oh, whatever, man. He's like, I rope because we got to get it, not and I was like, well,
oh my gosh,
good point. But no, this was an organized practice.
You guys heard it here first, but I swear every time I call somebody and they say they're roping steers, I'm gonna ask them if they got out.
Yeah, you can keep that one if you want.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna say that.
It was pretty witty.
time.
I'll give him that. It was pretty witty.
Oh.
And it made, in a way, it made some sense. But
You been roping some lately?
yeah, I've been practicing a bunch. Haven't been going to many places.
Is it because you're building horses, or you've been
getting
ready?
There's just not a lot to go to.
Right.
So much stuff got canceled. I kind of had some plans, just amateur rodeo, and go to the World Series jackpots, do all that stuff. But so much got canceled. Been going when they have one. And, I've got a younger horse, kind of been messing with a little more. And, just piddling with those horses. And
As far as
going.
your team roping, like, if 100% is of the 100% of your team roping knowledge, what percentage of that do you feel like you learned at Snook with Kermit?
Man, I learned a lot from different people along the way. I went to Kermit's because I was trying to compete, and I wasn't beating. There was guys beating me consistently, and I thought there's got to be a reason. There's not. They're doing something I'm not. I was like, if I'm going to do this, I need to do this. And so I went over there. Kermit gave me a place to stay and helped me out. And he taught me I think the thing he taught the most was how a header can set up a run.
How to ride your horse?
Well, not so much that as like, yes. I mean, how you ride your horse to catch the steer, to set it up for your heeler to catch.
Yeah.
To be as fast as you can to win money.
Yeah.
He really has he did and does have a great knowledge of how to set a run up with your partner.
Yeah.
Meaning, you heel this way, I head this way. This is what we need to do.
Yeah.
For us to be consistent and catch a lot of steers, and more you catch, the more you win. So he taught me a lot about that, and probably, I don't know, I would say that would be his strength as a roper, was his knowledge of how to get out of the barrier, get it on the steer, and handle them in a way that's fast enough, but still consistent enough where your heeler's going to get lots of good throws and catch lots of steers, And guys was pretty successful when he had some good horses for a while, and he was one of the averages in NFR. Not a bad guy to learn something from.
We end up talking a lot about guys learning different things, and because, I mean, obviously I take on interns. That's why Donnie's here. We filmed this morning just ranching. You were teaching Nick, and most of them, kind of come and go, but they're all wanting to learn something, and so I always use you as a reference. At some point, we'll talk about what you did, there, which was you came in and worked for a time. Kermit needed work done, and so like there was just an exchange there where you were learning how to rope, you were soaking in that knowledge, and then in exchange he got some work out of you. And anyway, same kind of situation here. Like Nick's got a place to live, and but it just comes down to what that person wants and how bad they want it. And but with my stuff's obviously rough stock, but I don't mind trying to teach them how to throw a loop, but I usually bring somebody like you in.
Well, and then again, like I keep saying it, it's there's people that rope so much better than me, and one thing I always tell people, and what I've done and to get where I am, wherever that is, is I went around and I was wanting to compete better and compete against the guys who were beating me. And I said, well, man, who is the smartest guy that I personally know that I can go? And at the time, it was Kermit. You know,
Right.
I was like, that's the only guy I know that's been in the NFR. And so I went over there, approached him, and sought out the opportunity. And then when that ran its course, and I felt like I was ready for the next step, I felt like my horsemanship was holding me back. I needed better horses, need to ride better. So I sought out. Then I hung around like the Donnell. They trained a bunch of horses, and they helped me with some stuff. And then that took me so far, and then I was like, man, I need to learn a little more. And I got fortunate enough to ride a bunch of like really good colts from like Wichita Ranch, and I hung out with Blue Lavender, and man, they taught me something. And then I got to a point, and I said, man, I'm still not where I need to be. And we never are. If you're trying to be good, you're never where you need to be. You're always looking. And then I was like, man, I need some help, some more. And then probably one of the ropiest guys I personally know is Colby Lovell.
Mm-hmm.
And I was having some trouble with some stuff, missing some steers that I shouldn't, and went over there and hung out with him, and he showed me some things with my swing that helped. And again, I'm not above asking for help, and if you're gonna ask for help, I start at the top of who I know,
Right.
and that's always been my philosophy on anything.
Yeah.
If I want a mechanic, I want the best mechanic there is, that I can find. So anybody that's looking for help, that's where I always say start.
Yeah.
Go through your phone and go, who is the best at what I want to
Right.
learn?
That's probably why I get so many messages.
Exactly.
You know
Why
what I mean?
get so many messages.
Reaching out to me.
You're telling Noah about the flood here, It's like, welcome to my life.
Right. Yeah. Just
People calling all day long. See, I don't get a lot of phone calls.
Well, you don't put yourself out there. You are very. It's not that I would. Are you like anti-social media? But like, you ain't got nothing. No Facebook, no Instagram.
I'm off the grid, son.
You're off the grid. Are you still on the flip phone life?
No. I have
You
like
got
an
an iPhone?
iPhone 3. I think.
Okay.
No, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
What I do is when my wife wants to upgrade, she gets the new one, and I get hers.
Yeah.
And that's how it works around the house.
What man, you need a little bunkhouse for an intern. We could get you an intern. Who wants to intern for Garrison? Train horses, learn how to rope.
I don't know, man.
What if I just send Nick down there?
Yeah, gotta start somewhere. I wasn't much better than
You got that trailer.
Not
Ain't
anymore.
you got
Sold it.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. But we do got a little, we're building like, well, we didn't build. We got this little portable deal. It's like a little living quarters deal for like, so it's in the same place the trailer was. But it's
Gotcha.
a little nicer now.
Man, but that's a whole different situation because you're talking about timed event.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I can't imagine because I get calls from people that they don't have a horse, they don't have nothing, and so they're it's a lot easier to start with bull riding.
Yeah.
Bull rope. If you're gonna
Right.
get an event, bull riding's probably the cheapest to get into, and anyways. Startup costs. Yes. Yeah. You throw hospital bills in there. You might as well.
I cut my toe one time real bad. Cost $2,500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could drop
Yeah.
in, Donnie.
You're telling Donnie.
Well, I about tore this finger off, and realistically, it was only a bad cut.
Yeah.
It cost me almost $10,000 in hospital.
crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah. That blue boy, Trimble, set back on him. He was
Oh, really?
trying to untie a knot.
Yeah, I got it.
Yep.
In there. I'll be
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, it was a bad deal.
At least you still got it.
Yeah.
There's times he acts like he wished he hadn't had it.
Well, now that it's back, it's kind of a good thing I kept it. But
There for a little bit, he was like, man, I wish they'd have just cut it off.
Man, they gave me 10. I figured they had a use for all of them, so I want to keep them all.
Yeah.
It's got to be better with them than without.
well, at first I couldn't feel it. Like it
Yeah,
was
no.
there.
Dude, I just went real deep with what you said. They gave you 10. He's talking about the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. He's going like Trinity. He's talking about rather than, man, I was like, you're getting deep on us over here, getting philosophical.
Yeah, don't mistake me for being intelligent.
What'd you usually say? Don't let these raggedy clothes fool you.
Don't let these raggedy clothes fool you.
You ain't got raggedy clothes today.
I know.
That's a nice shirt.
I went through my clothes, and the only stuff I had that was clean had holes all in it. I figured, want to look my best.
Yeah, if you're gonna be on film.
Yeah.
Man,
I even shaved. Which is
we were telling a
odd.
story the other day. remember when Jake Barnes got hurt,
The
and
finals, you mean?
right before the finals.
Oh, when he fell, yeah.
Yeah,
When the horse
and
fell.
then Junior, and so it bumped JoJo up.
Mhm.
And I mean, you remember watching that finals though when
Oh,
it was
yeah.
JoJo and Junior, and because I was talking to Junior, told me a story about it the other day, and so like they were setting a record 9 rounds in,
Yeah.
like they were like wolfing it on everything,
Right.
doing, you know, he was leaning back doing his deal, JoJo was smoking them,
Throwing
you know?
as far as he can throw it.
Absolutely, yeah. I think what was he roping with? It was like a 60-foot rope or something.
I don't know. It seemed like that arena's not even very long. It felt like he was the rope was along with the arena.
And yeah, he had 2 ropes tied together. Well, how long is a normal head rope?
I think most of them are like 31 or 32.
32,
Foot now.
yeah.
Yeah, so he had 64 foot is what he would have been roping with. Anyway,
I don't feel like it was that long, but
probably. But going in 10th round, like all he had to do is catch.
Right.
Junior is world champion.
yeah.
But if they smoked it on him, they're both world champions.
Right. Yeah, I kind of trying to remember that scenario.
JoJo came in. He was like, "What do you want to do?" And Junior said, "Let's go for it."
Yeah.
And he missed. JoJo missed him.
Yeah. I remember they had no time. I couldn't remember what happened, but
But
I remember speaking.
I
of
thought that
JoJo-
was bad to the bone.
Oh yeah. You don't get there.
I thought that was cool that Junior would say that.
Well-
Donnie always said he thought it was cool that JoJo would even ask.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, you know that's
But I'm just intrigued because you're a team roper.
yeah.
Like I don't ever, you know. Of course, that's a unique situation.
Right,
You're talking
right.
about, you know, but
Yeah, like another a little side note. I remember this has been a long time ago, but the first time I maybe heard of JoJo Lamont, and Kermit, if you remember, had a bunch of roping calves,
yeah.
and your dad was putting on some rodeos still,
Yep.
and we did those Paducah,
Yeah.
and so I hauled the calves up there. And, you know, we all went up there, and it was fun. We had a good time. And when they had a jackpot that next morning, and I was like, I hadn't been nowhere. I was nobody, you know. I was just kind of up there hanging out. But I brought my horse to rope, and I entered the rodeo. I don't even remember who I entered with, but
Wendell, didn't you?
nah.
Did you rope with Wendell?
No, it was some other guy that maybe picked up. I can't remember his name. He was a
Anyway.
younger guy. Anyhow, but I was like, well, let's see what these guys doing up here in West Texas, you know. And I was like, JoJo comes out of the first team, and he was just riding.
Did you know who he was?
I mean, I'd heard of him, but I
Yeah.
was like, I didn't really know. And like I said, I was just pretty green to the whole deal. Hadn't been very far from the house. And I mean, he gets about a little bit past the box and throws his rope and snaps it on horns and turns around. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, what am I doing up here?
Yeah.
You know, like, serious,
This is
man.
West Texas.
I was like, Lord, and I mean, he did it all day long. I don't know, one first,
Yeah.
second roping. I mean, like Josh
Yeah.
Patton was there. I mean, all the guys from that area that
Right.
roped really good, the open guys, and I was like, back
Yeah.
to the drawing board. I got
remember
some stuff to work
being
on
like
here.
a kid, you know, and I would go to, you know, my dad was mainly rough stock. Like he rode broncs and then he picked up,
Mhm.
but he was a really good header. Like he was
Yeah, I
very
remember
consistent.
he'd rope at Kermit's and stuff. Some I remember
And
that.
he wouldn't go to team ropings. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
he wouldn't go to rodeos
Yeah.
because if we went, we were doing something on the other
Mhm.
end of the arena. But like, there'd be like, because he was an ag teacher, he'd go to them ag teacher ropings or whatever.
Right.
And I just remember he was very consistent. And so one roping, I remember going, and he'd turn like 6 or 7, and he caught all of them. And as a little kid, I thought that was just amazing. I was like, he never misses. You know, he's never missed in my life.
Right,
you know, is
right.
what I'm saying. And so, anyways, I remember I was at a roping when I was a kid, and he called me over there. He was like, "Hey, come over here," and he was like, you need to watch this guy." And he was like, and it was JoJo, and it was like the first time, and I didn't know a lot about team roping, but I'd watched my dad and I'd seen it at the rodeos, and I knew that he was like at an uncomfortable distance away from this steer whenever
Yeah.
he woofed it on him.
He got us something more special when he threw.
He got us something more special.
Yeah.
And he got to the end. I felt like the fluffy of that rope was on the, right at his thumb, when he got his dowel.
And it doesn't slop on the horns either. It just.
But I remember,
Sharp.
I think it was Brownfield, Texas. Like, I can picture it.
I mean,
but it was like.
I think he was king up there around. What were those
TCRAs.
Yeah. I think he beat everybody up there.
Yeah. But anyway, I didn't know. To me, it's such another level of challenge, because when you're in a rough stock or really any other event besides, it's all you.
Mm-hmm.
It starts with you, it ends with you.
Right.
And even if you want to blame it on the stock, that's fine, but you ain't going to get nowhere, because at the end of the day, like, just go to the next rodeo and draw a good one there,
Right.
but it's on you.
Mm-hmm.
And team roping, golly, you could do everything right, and
Yeah.
it ain't you.
No, I mean,
all the time.
It doesn't. But everything goes around. There's times when your partner's not making any mistakes, and then you keep breaking the barrier. So it all
Right.
it goes. It's a two-way street. But
What's tough to me is, like, when do you get a new partner?
well, I don't know. I get a partner whenever I can find one. I don't have, my phone's not ringing off the hook, so I try to rope with the best guy I can get again. And then the guys that rope the best, the guys that rope the best get the best partners, and then once you get better partners, that guy messes up less. And then
Yeah.
you win more, and that's why
Then you got to ride that momentum wave.
Yeah, that's why you get those teams that rope and just beat everybody for years. They get for whatever reason, if it's my head horses and your heel horses, everything's clicking, and we're both working at it the same. We're both practicing hard and got the same mindset. Then those guys get on rolls, and then for whatever reason, maybe my head horse goes down, and the horse I'm riding now doesn't give you the same go, and man, you start roping legs, and you're like, you know what, this, like I said, I just hang around the house, but the guys that do it for a living, I think that, it's a financial deal for them. It's about winning dollars, to stay going.
Yeah.
So I think as long as they're making money, they'll put up with a lot of stuff.
Man, the tough, and then you got to add this element of like you got to bad to the bone. Like, for instance, in Snook, you had Fridge.
Mm-hmm.
He's bad to the bone, big white horse, and you go out there and turn left. But then all of a sudden, like, well, how does he take a smaller arena?
Yeah.
How does he take a bigger arena? How does he take after driving 6 hours?
Yeah.
And then, then the climate changes. Does he like the cold? Because, like, we got to just ride.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that horse or bull may have a different day because of the same thing, but we ain't got no control of. Like,
Right.
that's what we drew.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? And so, like, you guys got to have, you almost got to have 3 different horses.
Yeah,
or at least,
I
like,
guess a lot of people do, that really, but even then, even the top guys, they only get them great ones now and then.
Yeah.
That one, just looking back, like Charles Pogue had Scooter, this is going back a ways, but and when you get that one of them, you can't beat that guy. When Speed won all this stuff, you had them 2 horses, you couldn't beat him. When Rich had that horse, so yeah, I guess those guys have different ones. I don't really know. Like I said, I got 2 kids and I hang around the house, But
Speaking of horses, what did Caleb ever do with Bonsai? Little Woody.
I don't know. I don't know. I remember he rode him and stuff. I think his brother has it. To be honest with you, but
that was a cool horse.
Couldn't say for sure. Yeah,
That was an athlete.
Yeah.
I had when I first moved up here and I was doctoring yearlings, I needed one more horse because it was Ball and Boone.
Yeah, he came from Conley though.
Yeah,
So you
and
bought
so
it
I
from
called
him,
Garrison and they hooked me up with Bonsai, and he called him Bonsai because Conley and them called him Lil Woody because Woody had gone to who owned Woody?
Patrick Smith had bought
Patrick Smith. Anyways, super athletic horse, and so, man, I just remember I'd be out there doctoring yearlings, and he was the one, because every now and then I'd get mad at a year, I'd bust the snot out of one, hanging on him, go left. And I did that 1 or 2 times, and then I felt him, like, I go to rope something, I felt his shoulder drop, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna mess this horse up. Like I realized like how much he was listening to me, you know. And he was where I really started to, because I knew one day he was gonna go somewhere else. You know, he ain't gonna stay a ranching horse. It was just too much athlete, too much horse. And so I wanted him to, anyway, I started really paying attention, and instead of just having fun out there, I was like, I need to ride this horse. But
realize that you can maybe make a little money on one, you know.
that was one of them horses I knew I wasn't gonna keep, and
Make a little money on.
I was gonna make some money anyway, and I didn't make a whole lot, but no, I was just curious.
Yeah,
What
I
about
don't really know exactly. I think his brother had him, but I'm not sure. I couldn't swear to it.
you know me this long? What stands out? What's some sort of story that stands out from like back in the day with me?
Well, man, I don't know. I mean, there's so many of them. Do you remember the time I saved your life when you wanted to get on a bull?
No.
You know, man, that's
What you
sad.
talking about?
That's sad.
Which one?
You wanted to get on a bull because you were going somewhere, and it was one of those black bulls at Kermit's, and nobody was around. Was it? There was two black bulls, wasn't it? Was it Roy?
Roy was the bad dude.
Yeah, and then there was another one that bucked pretty good, but he wasn't quite as bad, right? And then there was Overdraft. That was that
Overdraft.
paint bull. I remember the paint.
When he bought him, he overdrafted his account.
I didn't say that, Kermit.
Hey, Kermit tells everybody that story.
Oh, okay. Well, everybody get a man's finances out there.
Yeah. he used to. He
My
used to
wallet,
tell
my
everybody.
wallet. But anyway, no, you wanted to get on a bull, and nobody was around. And I was like, dude, I'll crack the latch, but I'm like, you got to promise me you ain't getting no bind, because like,
Yeah.
I ain't fighting no bull.
Well, keep telling the story, because
You
I
really
don't
don't
remember.
remember
I
this?
do not remember.
All right, so you remember how there was the two chutes, then like two chutes next to the
Yep.
roping box.
Yep.
And there was out gate, and then there was two chutes kind of on an angle,
Right.
and you always buck that bull out of one of those.
Okay.
And so I cracked the latch. I was cracking the latch. I flanked him, cracked the latch, pulled your rope. I mean, it was just me and you. That was it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I cracked the latch. You rode him, and like when you got off, you didn't get hung up like in the rope, but something you got fouled somehow.
Uh-huh.
And that bull came to hook you, and I was like, you told me you weren't gonna get in the back. And so that bull, if you remember, it was those cables, like that went down like along the bleachers, and that bull was coming at you, and I was fairly young and still pretty athletic. I said,
I'm gonna give him one pass.
One pass.
I'm gonna give you one pass. I'm gonna give you one shot.
and I mean, and it was pretty close to that fence. So I mean, this is all happening fast, but things slow down in your mind. I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to kind of swipe by this bull, and I'm going to be like a squirrel on that fence like right now. And I did, and I slapped that bull in his left eye, and right after I slapped him, I clinging to the fence, and he comes hooking at me, and you ducked away and got away clean. Nothing.
I wonder, Catfish John? Black Muley.
Yeah, it was Black Muley.
That, because we would buck him on that side.
Yeah.
I
It was a
bet
black
it was
dude.
Catfish John.
And he came to hooking at you, and I was like, so I saved your life one time.
Man, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was my only
I remember
bullfighting
it now.
experience.
I remember it now because I remember you telling the story after.
Yeah.
Talking about
Yeah, I think that's why you give me some free caps every now and then.
And then you got on a bull once.
Once. After I got tired of y'all telling me about how good I was going to be at it, which I knew was just bait,
Do you remember them A&M football players?
Yeah.
Remember that time they came out, got on a bull?
Yeah.
Paul Freeney.
I can't
We
remember
stayed
his
good
name,
buddies, Paul
but-
Freeney.
Was that his name?
And then there was a defensive back that was like
a real athletic kind of guy.
Yeah. Paul was a D lineman, and dude, got on a bull,
What was the other guy's name?
and it was on freaking YouTube too. And then the other guy, he didn't get on a bull, but he was a D back, had long hair, and he was freaking good.
Yeah.
I don't
can't
know if he
remember his
went
name, though.
and played pro ball, but like good.
I know exactly.
Paul ended up like raising dogs, like cop dogs. They were like attack dogs, Like he'd sell them, like for real. Like he would just anyway. Because I
going- I
still
ain't
follow
going-
him on
I ain't
Instagram.
going to his house.
No, dude, I'm telling you, like he'd stick some dogs on him, and like he'd wear the big suit,
big-
you know,
big hazmat looking thing?
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, and then who else did we put on there first? Remember we did that. BBC America show.
Right. Yeah.
Richard Hammonds
Yeah.
came and fought that
Yeah.
bull, and almost got killed by overdraft.
Yeah.
Because we were like, no, this bull ain't hooky at all, and like this dude's like little frail British guy, you know. And overdraft, just the one time he decides to come after somebody, it's on national television with Richard Hammonds. We put a bunch of people on their first bull out there. We thought about, matter of fact, I thought about starting a show called it for now in Winnebago though, not Snook. Call it Bucket List Bull Riding.
Oh, that'd be
Somebody
cool.
get on there. Cole Wetzel messaged me.
Yeah.
He wants to get on one day.
Huh.
And so, anyway.
Well, more power to him. I did it once.
What else?
What else?
What do you remember most about me? Just like as a mindset, like what was it about me that was funny?
Tell me how great I was.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I'm not talking about that.
Give me
I'm
the piece
talking
of
about,
paper
like-
and I'll read it.
I'm talking about I'm talking about something funny that like you would watch me and it was just like just something like unusual that like maybe I wouldn't describe, something I wouldn't brag about.
Okay.
Man, I'm trying to think of. I mean, you're a quirky dude. You know, I mean, everybody knows
To say
that.
the least.
I remember one thing that you got me with it a few times. Used to be your go-to. Was when you do the dollar bill thing. I used to hate that. God, I hate that. Wait, Donnie, man, we'd go to the chicken and get a burger all the time.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And whatever, I mean, for whatever, I mean, it'll be Monday night, whenever. you know.
Yeah.
And
We went to the chicken a lot.
and we'd shoot pool and get a burger and Tijuana fries. And,
Golly.
Hell, and drink beer, but hell, I'd have me a Coors Light or whatever. But man, we'd shoot a little game of pool or something, and I'd go get a beer or drink or something, and I'd be walking back, and he'd do it all the time. And I got so mad at myself for falling for it. He'd have the dollar bill on like the fishing string. He used to aggravate me, and I'd be bebopping through there. I mean, broke as the 10 Commandments, you know. So I'd be like, oh, dollar, and I mean, he would wait till you got right to it, and he'd snatch it, and he'd be over there laughing. I was like, fell for it again. Fell for it again.
Oh my
I mean, he
gosh.
did it.
I remember one time
Did it and I fell for it way too many
Did
times.
you ever like think while you were grabbing it, like, I bet this is Dale?
Nope. That's what I'm saying. I'm so mad at myself for not.
one time I just had it
not being smarter. Than
I just had it rolled up in my wallet.
Uh-huh.
So just like random time, you know, I'd do it to people I didn't know, class, you know, whatever. It'd be in the hallway. I'd snatch it and get to the hallway. No cameras. This is purely for my
that was
enjoyment.
his go-to, man.
No cameras.
It was his
So,
go-to.
like he came in the chicken, I'm in a table in the back, and like he was gonna walk up to the table, and then on the other side of the table, I was sitting there. So like I had the balls rack. I'd gotten there just before him, enough time to set it all up, you know, and I got his stick waiting, and I'm like 10 feet on the other side of the table, like on my phone, acting like I don't even notice him coming up, and I see him bend up, and I got the string running that 10 feet and then under the table between the legs.
Yeah.
So like there's just no way he thought it was connected to me.
Classic.
And I mean, like I see his head disappear, and about that time, I think he had it in his hand, and it just like, shoop. I'm over there like this.
And I was just so disappointed in myself, going, got me again, man. He got me again. And then he beat me like 6 games in a row at pool. And I was like, I feel like a loser,
Throwing
man.
salt on him.
You had to learn that somewhere. You didn't just think of that.
Yeah, so we were at stock shows, and we were at Houston. I was a kid, and some other kids got me with it, and I remember being like,
Never again.
so disappointed. Yeah,
I'll be on the other
yeah,
end.
exactly. Never again will I be on the string end.
Yeah, if I had to do it over again, I would walk up and step on both sides of the dollar
That's
bill
it.
first.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't do that at the time.
You remember, speaking of the chicken, you remember when Big Tex lived with me?
Oh,
Big Cat, Clark.
Yeah, the resting rhino.
The resting rhino.
Yes, I do.
He was my center growing up. Like in my senior year in football, he was my center. 6'6",
Big guy.
like 340.
Yeah.
Big
He's
and-
all there.
and deaf,
Yeah.
which is irrelevant except for like in this scenario, he didn't know what was. He didn't know this guy was trying to get tough with me. Anyways, like, because remember, were you there whenever I was playing pool with a broomstick?
I mean, you've done it before. I can't keep talking.
Anyways,
I
we were
remember
playing
you doing
pool,
it. I remember you
and
played with your stick backwards a lot.
Yeah, he
remember
was.
that.
He was in the bathroom. Clark was, and a guy working there came up and was getting mad, like, because there wasn't an extra pool stick or something. I was like playing with this pool cue with this broomstick and just jacking around. And I was playing somebody, anyways. And this guy, he came by and he was like working there and like acting tough for no reason. Like, I ain't hurting nobody. I'm not scratching the felt, you know. And he come up and he was and I was kind of like talk back to him about it. I was like, what am I hurting, man? What am I hurting? And he kind of like bowed his chest up just a little, and I was like, I don't understand what the big problem is. And then about the moment I got kind of like, I mean, what you gonna do about it anyway, or something like that. And this fool just like went soft, like shoulders came down. He was like, you know what, man, just whatever, do whatever. Turned around, walked off. I was like, that's right. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, kind of poked my chest out. I was like, you dang right. And I turned around and Clark was standing there. He had walked up behind me, and he was like, what's going on? Yeah. And I turned around and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Maybe I'm not so big and bad. My 6'6" bodyguard walked up behind me.
Another Clark story. Remember, kind of after I left Snook, I moved that place in Shelby, and I was kind of redoing that house and stuff, and y'all came and hung out one weekend and kind of helped me. We was putting that barn wood up and stuff.
Yeah.
And Clark was going to cook. You remember that?
No, I don't.
And I had like one of them Weber grills, so like, just the lid you take off.
Yeah.
And I had like, I don't know, a bunch of deer sausage or something. And I was like, we were working. And I was like, Clark, you go ahead and get us fire going and cook that sausage. I was like, I got some like oak or some good firewood over, like good barbecue wood over there. And, it was like old barnwood pine is what, and I had a pile of like all the little end pieces. And I come out there and Clark's looked like the mad scientist. He got him some lighter fluid and just flaming it up. And it's all that old rotten pine wood and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know if this is going to taste so good. Clark's just dousing that fire and his flames would shoot up. And I was like, I ain't going to say nothing to him. Yeah. It's just going to make a sausage wrap and be done with it. But
yeah.
The resting rhino.
Yeah, it's kind of like that Todd Snyder story. Trog. He talks about Trog was 6'4", 280 pounds. And I go over there and everybody's laughing at his stories, and they're not really funny stories, but he's 6'4", 280 pounds. He said, Lukenbach, they called me, and it's like, you want to come play on Saturday night? So I put the phone down, check with Trog. He said it was all right. So we went we're standing there watching whatever Trog wants to watch on TV. That's how it was with Clark. Yeah. Golly, it was always my subtitles on my TV were delayed. Yeah, we'd all laugh, and then about 5-6 seconds later, Clark would laugh. And, that was my best friend growing up, man.
Yeah, I remember there's a picture somewhere of maybe you and him at like kindergarten.
Yeah,
which y'all little
laughing,
like whatever. You probably had a Care Bears backpack on or something. But do you remember what I'm talking about?
I think
so.
And
he is like this much taller than you.
Yes.
Even at 5 years old.
Oh, dude, man, we were. Yeah, and we lived like down the street.
Where's Clark? Where's he at?
Memphis. Works in Memphis. Yeah. Cool. He their family got a ranch. He runs some cows up there.
Really?
Yeah.
Good friend.
Yeah, him and his brother run some cows on a family ranch.
Perfect.
Yeah, dude, he's funny. He came down there and went to he went to school at Blinn, but anyway, he it's like, Clark, why aren't you in class?
He said, "Oh, I fired my teacher." He dropped a class. He said, "I fired my teacher."
I do remember that. That was a good one.
No, I thought you were going to say something whenever I was asking you about just the way I act. I thought you were going to say something about girls, me and my women problems and all that.
You did have a few here and there, but you came out of that all right.
Yeah.
The things work out like they're supposed to work out.
Yeah.
God, no need to get too
There
deep
was one.
into
There was one
to the
girl
man's
I was talking
business.
to, and it was kind of rocky and whatever, and we were kind of trying to figure some stuff out, whatever. And Garrison was messing with me. He was like, "So y'all together?" And I was like, "Oh, no, not really." And he was like, "Oh, well, you mind if I call her then?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Oh, okay." So I guess y'all together then. And I was like, "Yeah, we are. Okay, stay away from her."
Yeah, that's my always idea. They want to play it cool, and I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna ask her out then." Well, I mean, don't be trying to play it cool. You like a girl, you like a girl, man. Don't give me that mess.
It's complicated, Garrison.
Whatever, dude.
I like her. She don't like me back.
I remember.
You'll get that sometimes.
I remember that one time we were riding through the pasture. You said something like, "What'd you say?"
I think it was the one you were asking me, like, "Well, what? This girl's doing this, and I'm doing that. What should I be doing?" And I was like, "Well, I would probably do this." And then I told you, I was like, "Hey, but my advice to you would be don't take my advice."
Yeah, that's it. That's what you did.
I was like,
Yeah.
I don't always make the right choices in these situations.
You gave me some advice, and then you maybe you heard yourself or something in it. You made you say,
Man,
like,
don't do that.
I put a disclaimer on it. But
Things go south. That's not my fault.
Yeah.
So I'm out on that.
God, that was funny.
But it was pretty true. I think in hindsight, the right advice was to not listen to my advice. So it kind of covered my bases.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was right either
I'm going to answer the question, but
I'm going to be right either way.
yeah.
If it works, I told you so. And if it didn't, hey, man, I told you it might not work.
Oh, jeez. What we usually end with life advice
Life advice.
for the audience.
Well, you mean
It can be like just your mantra. It can be your life. It could be something that relates to like our time at Snook. It can be just funny, whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we talked about it a little bit last night. Like, the one thing I wish people would, like I talked about, I'm getting a little tired of, and I'm getting a little old and getting a little grouchy, but like I said, there's no job beneath me.
Yeah.
I wish people had a little more of that attitude.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good way to live your life. It's what I try to do. I ain't saying I'm perfect or do it right, but whatever the task is, do that task to the best of your ability, despite if you feel you're above it or below it.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to the Brandon and you're just the vaccine man all day, be the best.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Don't just sit over there and pout because you're not getting a rope.
Rope or flank.
But just do what you're supposed to. Whatever can get the deal done, let's do that.
Yeah.
I try to approach things that way.
Yeah.
I mean, that I think if you live that way, you're gonna when you finish your day up, you'll at least be happy. You're like, hey, all I could do today was, if it goes, like in my house, if it goes to raining or something and I can't ride, I might go through my tack room.
Yeah.
I might, and I mean, I try to better my situation every single day. If it's just like we talked about, it's not a home run. It's just little bit, and those things add up. So that is how I try to live in my personal and business. I got 2 kids. I try to be, make a point to be home and do that. And if my job is to watch the kids while the wife got to go somewhere, well, then do a good job doing that. Don't just sit there and pout because you're not getting to enter the rodeo. Look at it as an opportunity to spend time with your little kids. Try to, like I said, try to take that situation and improve it and make it as good as possible.
Right.
And I think if you do that, you at least can be happy with yourself at the end of the day.
Right.
It may not be the ultimate outcome, but whatever the goal is, the task is for that day, try to make that task as good as you can.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to do. That's my little philosophy on things.
What you got, Donnie?
Man, listening to you guys talk about snook, like, it made me like kind of feel like think about my times when I had in college, and like it seems like a lot of people, no matter where they're at in their life, they're always looking forward to the next step. Oh, when I get here, like I'm gonna be happy, or when I get this done, I'm gonna be happy. And I really come to realize, like, ain't nothing gonna make you happy. You gotta make your own happiness. You know what I mean? Like, realize where you're at and make the best of each situation and learn in those times.
Dude, I was thinking about that same thing last night because I caught myself, because I remember back then thinking that.
Yeah.
You know, I had
It's hard not to think like that sometimes.
Benny Patrick, he was a bullfighting instructor. He told me in Fort Scott, Kansas, it was snowing. I was at a rodeo school in 2006, and he said it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Mm-hmm. And so I remember taking note of that, you know, and kind of like on The Office, you know, I wish that there was a way to know you're in the good old days when you're in the good old days, you know. And so like I've tried to take note of each stage of my life, but I caught myself even these last couple of months, you know, because we're getting ready for something coming, you know, next week, and everything's been about next week. Yeah. Even your bronc riding. Yeah. But like we got to slow down, because when we're all hanging out on the back of the chutes, and it's me and you and Leroy, and you're getting on a bronc, and maybe I get on something, Corey Pippen's there, girls are there, everybody's there, like
those are gonna be times that you think about.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. And it's gonna be it's awesome when you also will get to add in the going to a rodeo. But it's so easy, like once you start going to rodeos, you're gonna be thinking about, okay, now I can't wait till I get to go to these AMI finals. Mm-hmm. Then you're gonna be thinking about, now I can't wait to transition to pro rodeos, right? Circuit finals, NFR. And if you're not careful, each stage, like just exactly what you just said, you'll get to where it's all about the next thing, you know.
Kind of reminds me, like one of my favorite songs is "To Live and Fly" by Townes Van Zandt. The one part is he says, "Where you been is good and gone. All you're left with is the getting there." Meaning, whatever you went to is irrelevant. Yeah. What you're going to remember is the steps. Yeah. Along the way, in retrospect, you know. Yeah. I think that's pretty good. I think it's about what we're all saying, same thing.
Man, I heard this. I heard the saddest mindset. I heard a guy the other day. He was like, "Yeah, got this, and this going, and now if I could just get my kids graduated high school." Yeah. It like hurt me. Yeah. I was like, because these kids are like, one of them might have been in junior high, the other one's in elementary school.
Lots of cool stuff to go.
I was like, dang, man, that would be terrible. You know,
like to have that thought process.
Golly, I love kids. Like that would have been, man, to have that mindset, you know, would just be not soaking it up, whatever. But I think he was thinking just financially, and he may have not meant it the way he said it. I don't know, but if he did mean it the way he said it, no, I would say my life advice, kind of what we talked about last night. You talked about like anybody that's great at something got there from focusing on that one thing. Mm-hmm. You know, not everybody was born as great at something as I was. Sure. You know what I'm saying? Where I can do other things.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating.
I'm sure, dude, I can't imagine how frustrating it is for you guys to have to work that hard at something.
To be almost that good.
To be second. You know what I mean? That's what I tell these bull riders. Like, go ahead and get it wrapped around your mind. Like, best you're ever going to be second, period. So that's my advice. Focus on it so that you can be at least second. Yeah. So, and then tell me what that's like. Thank you for joining us this episode of the Old Son Podcast. Is that what we're going with?
Hey, it's your show, man. You can call whatever you want.
Because we got.
I wanted to call it.
There's the deal, Donnie. What do you want to call it?
I don't give a shit.
I wanted to call it the Donnie Daytona Podcast Extravaganza, but you voted against that.
That's what Donnie's go-to was. Donnie says, "I don't give a shit." Donnie, you want to go? You want to go with me to pick up this feed? I don't give a shit. So yesterday I was like, "Can I tell Donnie that can I ask him before if we're gonna get on if he'll get on this bull? And they were like, well, no, let's film it. Let's film you having the conversation with him. I said, it's not going to be that interesting of a response. And they were like, what are you talking about? I said, 90% of the time he says, I don't give a
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, well, I guess you could tell him. So I turned around and he's like 30 feet away in the parking lot at the barn. And I was like, hey, Donnie, you want to get on Rickle? I don't give a shit. And they all just died laughing.
You need to start like breaking him of that and be like, you want to do this? I don't care. You want to do that? I don't care. Want to give him $50? I don't.
No.
You know, you kind of throw one of them in there now and then.
I mean,
get him paying attention. I don't want that. I don't give it just to be a reflex response. I want you to think about it.
yeah.
Think about what he's saying.
Let's talk about Donnie, though, because I think you would appreciate this about him, because a lot of girls get very confused. Like,
where are you going with this?
I'm saying that, like, I think you're the same. You and him are very similar. Like, a girl asks you where you want to eat. I don't give a shit. You literally don't.
No.
Or they ask you anything, and you tell them.
Let's just go on with this. I am married. But where you talk about me going out on to eat with
Or
women.
I'm talking about her. She could ask you.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
But, like, that's what you mean. Donnie says something like, that's what he means. Donnie comes in and sits down and doesn't say anything to her. Don't mean he's mad at her. He's just not talking. Where, like, girls just don't understand that. How long does it take a girl to wrap her mind around?
Donnie Daytona.
I don't know. If
You explain you better than me.
I don't know if
Do
they
it.
ever really do. I guess some of them might kind of figure out that like he's not gonna give that much of a reaction, but there's some of them that like they take it like personal. My brother's best friend's wife now, she like just could not figure it out. Like she just thought I was always mad at her or something. Like because I first of all, I didn't really care to talk to her anyways, but I wasn't mad at her.
So there's that.
Well, it got to the point where
Sweet girl, but just okay.
it got to the point where I didn't care to talk to her because she just kept being like, "Why are you mad at me? Like, why? Like, what's your problem?" I'm like, "There's nothing's wrong with me. This is just how I am. Like,
Yeah.
you gotta let me go. Like, leave me alone because you're pushing it too far." It got to the point where it was like, she just
Yeah.
kept like, and that was one of the extremes, I guess.
Yeah. But like, it's just like, I don't know. I'm trying to. I talk a lot more, so I don't run into these same situations.
No, not typically a weakness of yours.
Yeah, but you guys have a lot of similarities in that fact.
Right.
Like, if you say something, I'm trying to think of a specific example, but none come to
Well,
mind.
if I say I don't care, that means I don't care.
Yeah.
But if I say I want that,
No,
I want that.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
I'm not wishy-washy. I'm like I either do not care, or I'm pretty specific about
Yeah.
like no, I wanted that. You know, I
Say what you mean what you say.
try to.
That's the last piece of advice we can give you.
Right on.
Okay, kids? Pow pow and on to the next one. Wholesome Podcast number 44. I'd like to thank you for joining us. We'd also like to thank Rock and Roll Denim, Reflex Denim, Vintage 46 is what I'm wearing. And give the flex the mobility you need when you're ranching. You ever tried it?
No, sir, I do not have a pair of those.
I'll send you home with some.
All right, I like that.
Thank you for joining us, Garrison.
Yes, sir. It's been a pleasure.